All right, now we're in business. Nope, not what I meant to do. All right, today is June 3rd and we are going to dive in. So today our agenda looks pretty similar to the way that it normally does, but we are going to spend a lot more time in our community building section today, talking as a Lower East Side Middle staff and family community about the art, taking some time to acknowledge and give a space to process and speak, if people want to speak, about the things that are going on in the world, things that are going on in the city that are impacting our community, and want to spend some time talking about what supports you all need from us as a school community during this time, and then what are ways that we as a Girls Prep Lower East Side Middle community can take action and stand in solidarity together. So the majority of our time today will be spent really in that space, and then we will move into our grade level highlights and some academic updates as we round out this last week of remote learning. Our Zoom norms are the same. I am recording the chat into and we'll be sharing with families that can't join today. If you could please make sure that you stay on mute while we are going through the presentation, just to cut down background noise. And you can use the raise a hand function and then coming off mute to be able to share out, just so we don't accidentally talk over each other. Use the chat feed as you need to we will have a Q&A space at the end, and our staff will also be able to respond to some of those as we go. We're going to start today just with a collective community moment of silence in honor of the lives that are recently lost. Unfortunately, the three beautiful people on the screen represent far too many people that have been lost to senseless acts of violence. And we want to take a moment of silence to start our chat and chew today, to recognize both their lives and to recognize the unrest that's happening in our city and in our country as people are activating and advocating for a much needed change. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. Feel free to take yourself off camera if you need to take yourself off camera for this, and we will start our moment of silence now. Thanks, everyone. Ms. Lopez, I am going to turn it over to you to help us start our community builder and community conversation.
Great. If you can give me access to sharing my screen. So if you have your phone with you, or it is what you're using, or if you have a computer, you can go ahead and start by doing this. You can type in this website, /Karina Lopez 223, or you can text Karina Lopez 223 to 22333 to join the session. And then when I post up the question, you're gonna text your response.
And Ms. Lopez, I made you the host on the Zoom, so you should be able to have all the controls.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
No problem. I'm going to try again. I appreciate everybody's grace and patience as we navigate the tech challenges. All right. Ms. Lopez, will you try again? Because it's saying I don't have host privileges, so I'm not able to shift anything.
Still not working.
Oh, you know what? That's because I gave it to Karina Lopez that I can't see your photo. I think I may have put it on the other computer.
Got it.
Lopez is a trooper. She's having some major tech challenges she's persevering with right now and has like 5 devices up. Making this work.
Yeah, you did give it to the blank screen.
Okay. And you can't log into that account?
No, I'm on the phone, so I can't screen share on the phone.
All right. Families, once again, apologize for the tech glitches. Ms. Colgan, our resident expert, any idea if poll hosting privilege is back?
If you created the event, you should be able to reclaim host.
Okay.
When you go to participants and you click in that area, there should be probably more. It'll claim host.
Okay. Nope, it is not. So here's what we'll do. Ms. Lopez, I'm going to share my screen again.
I got it. I got it.
Oh, you got it? All right, look at that. I knew I'd get there. Perseverance, thank you.
Okay, so now, there you go. All right, so this is, the info will be shared right now, so you should be able to see my screen. What is one word that is top of mind for you today? So right at the top, you're gonna see it says the website, poev.com, /Karina Lopez 223, or you're going to text Karina Lopez 223 to the number 22333 using your cell phone. The standard text message rates apply. So if you have unlimited texting, won't be a problem. What happens is it's called a word cloud. So as people are typing them in, it'll put the words on the board. And if a lot of people post the same word, that word will be bigger. So right now it seems that at least more than 2 people have posted the word action. And I'll give everyone about 20 more seconds for this. I'm going to share with you the second poll question. So it's the same number. Second, minimize this, present, and get the link up for you. Activate. It's going to be the same number. And the question is, what is one thing you need from Girls Prep Lower East Side Middle in this moment? Can I get a thumbs up if you see the new question up on the screen? Great, thank you. So one thing you need from our campus today.
Thanks, Ms. Lopez. Before we move to the next question, I just want to give people.
Now I'm going to show you the last.
Hey, Ms. Lopez, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we can, before we go to that last question, if we can take a moment just to allow any families to talk about what they need from our community. If they would like to share aloud, it looked like right now we see the words for the first question. Second one, the word support was really big, which lets us know that there were a lot of people that picked support. So no one has to come off mute and share, but I want to give a space for anyone who would like to talk about what that looks like for you. You're welcome to come off mute.
Hi, I'm not sure if you can hear me. This is Heaven's mom, Francesca.
Hi,
Yeah, I just wanted to say, 'cause I was one of the people who said support, and the thing that I'm trying to do now is, I know the city's about to open up, so most parents who are working parents will have to scramble, try to find some sort of daycare, day camp. I don't even know if they're going to be open, but I think that that's my main need right now, just resources to see if I can just get a head start on calling some day camps. And you know, I did put in the I was going to put in the application for the Fresh Air Fund, but I don't think that they're going to be operating this summer. But yeah, that's what I wanted.
awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And families, as you're coming off mute, if you also have resources to share now with other families, we'd love to hear them. We will also, I'm taking notes now so that we can call those resources and things that are surfaced and get back to people with them.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Maya Medina's father. Am I off mute? I'm not sure.
Yep, you are. You're good to go.
Awesome. So I wanted to bring up concern with the overall city numbers that are still coming in the 300s, even though they have it well under 375, which was really the concern daily in these different hospital facilities and such. And the issue is the resurgency after so many people have been protesting in close proximity and not keeping on their masks on. And, you know, and I know it's an emotional traumatizing time, and sometimes you know, a person needs a hug, needs that kind of just person to person. And right now, that's my concern also with the reopening, what the as far as the city's going to look like next week with any new cases, as well as, you know, those parents that are also working odd hours. That the issue is, it's not the peaceful protesters in the day, it's obviously the gross looting and, you know, anarchist activism, that you have these individuals are coming from outside the city doing this and organizing this, and it's totally disgusting. And the concern is also the safety for the parents that are also going to be working at that, you know, and of course the childcare as well. So it's a tough conversation to have. And you know, there are some support items that I can send over, as well as donation links. You know, I donated to a few Maya. Sorry. So I donated to a few causes, and some causes are not taking any more donations, because even though individuals that are not speaking out about the matter are donating heavily, so they're actually well funded right now, and they're asking for, you know, those protests. I'm actually speaking to the District 87 councilwoman. That's actually my neighbor, and Karina Reyes is. I'm trying to find out when on Saturday they are going to do the morning and early day protests, and which have been going very well, and no, it's been fairly peaceful. You know, no major incidents, which is great, and people are getting their voices heard. You know, the news is walking with them. I personally won't have the girls this weekend; they'll be with their mother, so that's why I will go and support and protest, and as well as call a few of my fellow veterans to go with me. You know, nothing better to have a crew to neutralize the situation if it does get out of control in front of us, which we can do. So I said my piece, and I hope the links that I do send over, you know, if you don't know about them, you know, it'll be good information. I'll definitely send them over to the school email.
Thank you, Mr. Medina. We'd appreciate that. And thank you for sharing. When we're teaching, this is what we call wait time. I think I've said that before. And whenever you're in a virtual space, it's always fun. But we want to make sure we give everybody enough time to process. And if there's anybody else that wants to share, please feel free to go ahead and come off mute. And if we'll give it a couple more minutes, if not, we'll go ahead and move on to the next question.
Buenas tardes, Miss Karina. ¿Es posible de que me pueda explicar? Soy papá de Emily Paucar. No sé si me puede hablar un poco en español porque no lo entiendo tan bien y sería bueno para mí que un poquito hubiera alguna persona que me pueda hacer entender bien sobre la reunión de hoy. Gracias.
Sí, solo le estamos dando espacio para que puedan hablar. Si tienen alguna pregunta o algún pensamiento de lo que está pasando, y si necesitan ayuda de nosotros específicamente, ahora sería el tiempo de preguntarnos. No tiene que ser necesariamente de lo que está pasando. Si necesita ayuda, un padre dijo que necesita ayuda encontrando sitios donde mandar a la niña cuando volvamos a trabajar y la gente pueda volver a salir a la calle. So, cualquier cosa que necesite, si ahora quiere preguntarnos por nuestro apoyo, ahora le estamos dando un minuto antes de seguir.
Claro, no sé, yo vi la reunión pasada que decían que iban a dar un dinero, no sé, a los niños para comida. Yo no sé cómo funciona eso, cómo sería, el gobierno da o quién da ese dinero.
Esto es por el gobierno y es en reemplazo de los estudiantes que cogían el lunch gratis o con precio reducido. Entonces, eso es algo que se lo dan a usted. Tiene que llamar, si llama al 311, le pueden dar más información.
O eso hay que llamar al 311. Ujú.
Sí, sí puede llamar al 311 y le da más información porque no es por la escuela, es si a ellos le dan lunch gratis o con precio reducido, ellos le dan un reemplazo del dinero de lo que yo hubiera comido en la escuela. Pero eso tiene que llamar al 311 y le pueden dar más información.
Pero eso es en el caso que la niña haya sabido pagar su lunch en la escuela, ¿no? ¿O no?
Y es a los estudiantes que le daban el lunch gratis.
Oh, ya,
Con
porque,
precio
o sea,
reducido.
bueno, mi niña no tomaba los lunches. No sé si, claro, el lunch
No
creo que
tiene,
sí.
no,
Todo.
sí, no es que se lo tenía que haber cogido o comido. Es si a ella no le cobraban el lunch, que a ella no le cobraban.
Ujú.
Eso puedo decírselo yo. Puede llamar al 311 y le dan más información.
¿A cuál dice?
Al 311.
Oye, entonces ahí le llamo al 311 y le digo el nombre de la niña o cómo le averiguo eso.
Así mismo como nos preguntó a nosotros que usted oyó en una reunión de la escuela que le están dando dinero a los niños de edades de 5 a 18 para los que recibían el lonche gratis en la escuela, que usted quiere saber cómo usted puede recibir esos fondos.
Claro, está bien. ¿Y cómo puedo saber la evaluación de mi niña, cómo va en la clase?
Yo puedo hablar con Ms. Walker, que está en esa llamada, y ella le puede mandar un mensaje a usted personalmente.
Y ya sería tan amable.
No hay problema.
Gracias.
Hello?
Ms. Lopez, you want to move us to our next question?
Well, I just had one comment, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, please.
One thing I was wondering about, and I may be Johnny come lately on this, you guys may have addressed it in the classes, is I've heard a lot of the classes having an open discussion about what's going on, whether it be racial politics or discrimination or some kind of discussion. But I'm wondering, is there a defining message from you, from Girls Prep or whatever, that's saying that's framing this and saying, you know, this is how we want the girls to kind of think about this, not taking away from what they're feeling, but critical thinking skills and not just being caught up in feelings, and how they can action as they grow up. So, you know, thinking about voting, or, you know, I feel like I heard a bit of crosstalk, and in some cases the girls are talking over each other, and not everybody's not feeling heard, it sounds like. But I think that they are feeling, and maybe helping them to see how they can be part of the solution, or, you know, I don't something of that nature.
Absolutely. And I know that we've got some teachers on here that can also speak to some of the ways that they're talking about it in class and framing, to your point, like action. So we talked as a staff this morning about how, you know, it is 100% our commitment to not shy away from difficult conversations with our girls, to acknowledge what's going on, and to create a space where that it's safe to express, and also they learn how to listen to understand others, and think critically about the news and the media and the things that they're hearing, and also thinking about, like, what are the ways that you can take action even as a young person. And so we talked a little in the 7th and 8th grade unity meeting this morning about things that students can do, including researching and understanding their First Amendment rights, young people's role in social justice movements, and young people that have been on the front lines of fighting for change. We've also talked about, like, letter writing and, like, how do you advocate for change with representatives. And so we definitely want to come at the conversations from a place of, that we're the adults in the moment that are setting a tone for kids. We want them to know it's a safe space and something we're not going to ignore, and so that they can talk about it. We also know that they're kids, and so it's our job to be kind of the calm in the storm, but also to empower them with, so this is really hard and here is what we can do, because that's our commitment as a school community, is that we are going to continue to take action in every way possible to move us forward. And so Ms. Colgan or Ms. Walker, if you want to talk at all about what's happening in history class, and Ms. Lopez, just a reminder that you are sharing your screen right now if you're looking up resources. But Ms. Walker or Ms. Colgan, if you want to share anything additional about history class and some of the work that students are producing, the written work, that'd be awesome.
Fifth grade, we've done a lot of discourse around what's happening currently, as well as connecting it back to history and patterns we might be seeing right now. And students have taken it upon themselves to do a lot of research using critical thinking skills. I've been very proud of the history class, specifically because they've actually been evaluating sources to see which ones are valid and what is helping them figure that out. And they've been using all of those skills in class and applying it in the real life, and then coming to class ready to ask questions. And they've also been creating, some have chosen to write essays, some have created PowerPoints, some have, I've heard, are working on art to really express how they're feeling in these times, while also having an open dialogue with their teachers about what they need.
Yeah, I can add on to that, because I know these conversations aren't just happening in history class. Like, I know a lot of the ELA teachers have made some changes to their girlhood units to talk about like female leaders in the Black Lives Matter movement and like other historical female leaders who fought for racial justice and equality. In 7th grade, we are wrapping up a unit on the Civil War and like a really, long progression of lessons talking about the end of slavery and the abolitionist movement. So we're deliberately making connections to the modern day movement that we see now for justice, using some primary sources and speeches from the past and like seeing what connections we can make to the present. We're going to be wrapping up the year with a Socratic seminar next week on what the legacy of the Civil War should be in America. And students are going to be really encouraged to make connection to the modern day world that way as well. And I can't speak so much about the 6th grade curriculum, but I know the 8th grade is also changing their last week of classes in history class to be more reflective of what we're seeing in the modern day as they wrap up the year with the civil rights movement.
Absolutely. And if we get permission to share some of the student work, I think that Ms. Colgan, if you've got permissions to share Solange's, we have a 5th grader who wrote a really incredible piece that we'd love to elevate. And there have been a lot of other students taking it upon themselves to process through writing and to seek out how they can take action in their own ways and in their own worlds. Ms. Lopez, you want to talk to us about the next question?
Yes, I think we were on that same tone of like what are the conversations that not just that we're having in class and we're creating the space for, but like how are we doing something about it, or having the girls understand that there are ways to do something about it. So this one is not, it's just a short response. So as people's short responses come in, I figured everyone may have, or I hope everyone would have different ways. This way we can shed the light on what are some things that we may not have thought about. So Same number, same text thread that you already have if you're on the same website. What is one way you would like to see us as a community take action?
And to the previous question raised about like, what are we doing to empower students to take action? If there are things specifically that you want to see happening in classrooms, or that you want to see as opportunities and discussions with students about taking action, please feel free to please include those as well.
Hi, Ms. Strong. I was looking for the hand raise. It's Daphne.
Hi, Daphne. Come on, no problem with the hand raise.
One of the things that I would love to see girls, and I actually wanted to talk to you guys, is just consistent open dialogue. I lead a women's group, and a lot of the women, they just kind of feel the energy, and I always thought that this would be great if they had like a Zoom call for the girls to kind of get on. One of the things that I'm experiencing with Amory is, you know, she's sensitive to what's going around her, but understanding that she's the future. So just having you know, I love the fact that they're learning about their history, but they also have to remember that one day they're going to have the power to change so many things. So more, I mean, it's one thing to sit in all the stuff that's going on, but really talk about how they truly, truly can make a difference. And I just don't think some of the girls really believe that they can really just become the next Michelle Obama, the next powerful, powerful women that you guys post on their doors daily. So to really encourage these women that they can just be phenomenal, phenomenal women as well. I know that the girls really look up to Miss McCalla and Miss Lopez, so it would be great if they, I know I'm throwing you guys out there, sorry, but you know, just really having the young, younger generation, younger women that these girls look up to, and real life women to say, you can make this difference, you know?
Yeah, I spoke with 8th graders yesterday in regards to what you're saying, because you're right, like a lot of them and a lot of us feel defeated, right? We feel like, well, what more can we do? That was a statement one of our 8th graders made, like, what more do I have to do to feel heard? And so for me, it was letting them know that they are the reason why I am here, right? And so putting it in a perspective for them yesterday, for the 8th graders in history class, I let them know, like, hey, it may feel like right now you're not doing anything, but what's happening with you learning this in 8th grade versus me learning this in 11th grade is a different thing, right? And it was a promise I made to myself of like, how do I give back to my community so that in middle school, kids are learning not just their culture, what to do about it, right? So I let them know, like, they're my promise fulfilled. Like, for me, every day, this was my contribution, and it doesn't stop, right? I'm not going to be like, okay, now I'm retired. Like, did what I needed to do. But they needed to hear that, like, that they are my promise, that they were my way of going out into the world and doing something and making a change. And so it may feel defeating right now because in this moment, they can't change something so large as a law or a president or a person or like a charge, but them knowing that if they commit to something, that you're going to see the fruits of your labor. It may not be today or tomorrow, but down the line, and they're the fruits of my labor. And I think you're right in that capacity. Like, and I said it to 7th graders today a little bit, but I would love to go into detail with all the grades, right? And saying, and I know all the staff would vouch the same way, like, they really are promise fulfilled. Like, I would never have imagined a 10-year-old, 11, 12, 13, 14, knowing what's going on in the world, because that wasn't my reality growing up. So they need to hear that. And
consistently. That's why I had suggested on a weekly, because they're insecure, they're scared. You know what it was, like 13 years old. You're thinking about a whole bunch of other stuff. So and for me, my daughter is like, of course, you're my mom. Of course, you're going to tell me I'm great. Of course, you're going to tell me I'm the next blah, blah, blah. So they need to hear it from you guys. Like, seriously, you guys have the power to be amazing. Okay, that's my spiel. Thank you.
And just to piggyback off of Ms. Lopez, you know, I talked to a lot of the 8th graders and a few 7th graders about, you know, being West Indian and not being very familiar with the African-American history, because that's not what's really taught in my household. And, you know, learning it in school, but not really learning it in school. And how did that look like for me, like what Ms. Lopez talking about? Like, how did that look for me, like growing up, which was, I was in high school only a few years ago. We're just gonna say that. But just thinking about like having a West Indian background and how can you play? What do you identify? Because I talk to the girls all the time. What do you identify as? And that's a very big thing for people to understand, that when you come from like a West Indian background, not everyone identifies like as Black African American. So that's something that we do talk about a lot. And, we have a very open dialogue. I have a small group with the 8th graders that I meet with every day, and we talk about it. And, it's interesting to hear the things that the girls have to say, but I'm really grateful to know that the girls have so many platforms where they can voice themselves that, we didn't have growing up. So, I give them some boost and some encouragement to, stand up for themselves, especially going into high school. It's a different look than girls prep. That is something that I need them to understand, is their classrooms are not going to look like girls prep. Their teachers are not going to look like girls prep. And just become more comfortable with themselves and making sure that they have a voice for themselves, because it's very easy for our little Black and brown girls to get lost in the limelight unless they're considered a child, a problem child, or a behavioral issue or things like that, or academic concern. So many of our other scholars who fall in that window of academically doing well, no issues, get kind of, shunned out the way. So it's super important that I always message that to the girls, that, you are equally each other's backbone. And, you always have to make sure you stand up for your sisters, because if you disrespect your sisters, you open the window and the door for someone else to do the same thing. So that's what I always message to my girls.
Thank you for that. Yep. Good stuff.
The floor is still open for any families or anyone that wants to just speak on how you would like to see us as a school community take action, or things that you would like to see us doing with your girls to take action at this time. One thing I'm seeing in the document is a mini march, and you can trust and believe, the staff was talking this week, man, if we were in the building, if we were able to be together, the things that we, would like to do, similar to the day that we participated in the National School Walkout around to raise awareness around gun violence in schools and advocate for gun reform, and the speeches that our kids wrote and delivered in the, in the, why can't I think of the word? We had a ceremony, we came together in the auditorium, can't think of the word for it, right? Assembly, there we go. We're powerful. Our girls are incredible. So when we are able to safely have an actual physical event where we are able to take action with the girls, you can trust and believe that will be top on our list.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Dakota's mother, Asia Reeves. I'm the one who put down the mini march, and it's from Dakota's perspective. We live in the Bronx, and we actually live down a block from the Fordham area where they had all the craziness going on. And we actually had an incident right in front of our building yesterday with police involvement, and she actually saw a young man get arrested right outside of our window. But she's one of the students saying, hey, what more can she do? And she wants to go and protest and be involved with the marches. And I'm like, I'm scared, as her parent, because yeah, I see a lot of people marching, but I'm afraid of getting caught up in the nonsense that tends to drift off, or maybe it could be someone right in front of me that acts a fool, start acting a fool, and then we get caught up in something that we didn't even intend of getting caught up in. So I put mini march as far as our community, because she trusts Girls Prep. She love her friends, and if there was something that was just within you guys around the block of the school. And yes, I know we can't do it now, but it was something that would be, you know, controlled, a controlled environment with the people that she know just around the block, but just something that she was able to do and, you know, to say that she did something in all that's going on around her. So that's why I suggested that.
Absolutely. I think that that's a great idea and something that we absolutely will get on organizing as soon as we can get the girls there.
Hi, I just wanted to say one thing. I'm very sorry I had to reconnect with to the meeting, and I didn't get the last part of what was being said about the mini march.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Ms. Strong. Well, I was just saying, I'm the parent of Dakota Reeves, and I suggested that because she has been asking what can she do to, you know, do more of what's going on in the world around her. And I stated that I'm afraid to even take her outside. Like, we took a walk up the block to Fordham. Like, I live right down the block from Fordham, a few blocks away. And I told her that, you know, all the stores were closed, they were boarded up. And if we went around the Fordham Plaza area, and if there was a whole bunch of nonsense going on, we was turning back. You know, I wanted to go to the supermarket real quick, but I was scared. And I want to join the protest that's going on around the city, but I'm afraid of getting caught up in the nonsense that may happen. It could be someone in the front of us, on the side of us, that just wants to act a fool. And I didn't come there for that. I come there just to show support of what's going on, and for my daughter to experience what it is that she can do to do more. But I just don't want to be caught up in the nonsense. So if it was a controlled group with Girls Prep and her friends and the teachers and everyone that she trusts in the school community, just around the block of the school, which I know can't happen now, but it was just something that I felt, you know, could be done just to help her, you know, feel like she can do more for what's going on.
Thank you very much. I understand now. Yeah, I agree. You
I
know, I
just want
want
to jump in. I'm sorry. I took myself off mute and I didn't raise my hand. But I'm in Parkchester. If anything comes up and there's an issue, please let me know. I'm very close to you, and it's supposed to be that way. So if you guys are in any situation, just please let me know. I'm a central staff member, and a lot of my guys are prior service and also on NYPD. And the misconception is they're all that way, and that's not the case. A lot of my guys I've fought with overseas, and they're not like that. So please let me know, and we'll figure it out. I'll speak to the staff, and you'll get my number. Okay. All right.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I would like your information if possible. And I think that my suggestion, and it may not sit well with the entire group, but I think it's important that we show our children that, you know, like Mr. Medina said, not all cops are bad, you know, and I think that, and something along the lines of the girls and maybe select police officers coming together, possibly an activity, you know, maybe a march, maybe handing out water bottles or anything where they can come into contact with police officers who are dedicated and passionate and, you know, of course, inclusive, you know, and who, you know, I think that that'd be great to promote, you know, because especially in New York, you know, a lot of times our children are bombarded with the idea that, you know, police officers are bad, you know, and we have this whole civil rights unrest thing because of the fact that, you know, there was a murder, you know, and I think I want to be able to at least feel safe again and be able to say out loud, you know, police officers aren't all bad. They aren't, you know. I would like to see something like that. I don't even know how to organize something like that, but I think
Maybe
it
a
would
drive.
I'm not sure, baby girl, but I
Not,
think that
not
would
like
be
a
nice.
drive, maybe like just an activity night or something.
Well,
An
I got some
activity.
good news in regards to that. I have 3 of my guys that actually got transferred to PSA 4, which is right by the school. So when this clears up, I'm going to ask them for a favor and they will speak with the administration and that'll
Okay.
start the ball rolling.
That is great. Thank you.
You got it.
It's going to be awesome. The power of this community, I tell you. I appreciate both of you. I never use the mute function correctly. I mute myself at just whatever. I'll get there eventually. Right about the time that we don't need Zoom anymore. But I want to respect that I know some people are going to need to hop off right at 6. And so what we'll do is we'll move forward from this conversation and share some highlights, student highlights with you all, because everyone needs some joy and some positivity in this tough time. And I'll tell you that there's nothing better than hearing about things the girls are doing to help right the world. And then we'll share some updates with people. And then I'm happy to hang back a little while after 6 as well. If there are other things that people want to share that they feel like they didn't have a space to do, I'm happy to hang for a few additional minutes. Ms. Lopez, you've got the screen control. If you don't mind pulling up our slide deck, awesome. And I believe the first grade level to share out would be 5th grade, Miss Colgan.
Yeah, while Ms. Lopez gets there, I can just start. I've actually been extremely proud of 5th grade. I've been extremely proud of 5th grade during this whole virtual learning, but in this week, they have just really rallied together. In history class today, while having a discussion that was very tough, they leaned into it. They really pulled on everything they could possibly pull on to help them form what they were thinking, and they just sounded so incredibly mature and scholarly, and it just was amazing. And then, you know, they were really supporting each other, and they were constantly building each other up and helping each other out, and in the chat box or coming off mute to just let them know like they were there for each other. And it was just beautiful to really witness. So I'm proud of 5th grade, just so incredibly proud of them. There's a bunch of shout outs on the screen right now, but I know I see Isabella's mom is in here and she was a part of that group. I know Zadia was in there, and there's just so many students who showed up, probably close to 40 students at one point in history class, just really leaning in. So it was really wonderful.
Thanks, Ms. Colgan. Ms. Colver couldn't be here today. She sends her love to everyone on the call, so I'm gonna share out on her behalf the 6th grade shout outs. So one of them goes to Astria Watson, who's been going above and beyond in her conversations about girlhood and protesting. She has been challenged by her teachers. She wrote a piece on her research on the Black Lives Matter movement and is being challenged by her teachers to connect that to her girlhood final essay. As our history teacher shared earlier, is one of the things our ELA teachers are doing, and she's got a shout out for going above and beyond with that. Shout out to Samara for her openness and sharing her feelings and asking really important questions in our open community space with students this week. She really was just an incredible leader and super thoughtful and really brave in her conversations and her sharing. And there's a huge shout out to her. And Madison G for her improvement in her work. She's been working really hard to bounce back in these last days. To Sichow, similarly, for her commitment to self-improvement. It's incredible the grit our girls are showing right till the end. Who the heck thought we'd be remote learning for 11 weeks when they were in middle school? No one, but they're not letting that stop them. And Ms. Colbert just says, shout out to the 6th grade overall, best grade ever, period, with a T, by the way, Ms. Colbert. Turning it over to Ms. Walker for 7th grade.
Awesome, thanks. So if you were at this morning's Unity meeting, a lot of this is the same, but these students definitely deserve a shout out again. We were able to shout out kids for all of our core values, but there were so many students nominated for so many different reasons. So we also have honorable mentions for each one. In the end, we decided that in the past 2 weeks, we've been really impressed by Anaya Sarai Jackson's scholarship, Caitlin Burrows' merit, Michaela Abbott's responsibility, and Jeliza Lopez's sisterhood. And we also just wanted to shout out some students who have been consistently working really hard since the start of remote learning. It's been hard for everyone, but Joanna Therency and Michaela Abbott, despite all the challenges of learning online, have submitted close to 100% of their work, which is incredible. And Alex Rojas Molina and Sierra Fabian have shown a lot of growth and improvement since we switched to this online format. They're participating a lot more, and they're going to end the year strong, as so many of our 7th graders are. We are so close to the end, but so many of the students continue to impress me with how hard they're working and how passionate they are when we engage in class discussions. I just wanted to say that yesterday, when we had a class discussion about current events, it was such a testament to what all of you as their parents are doing at home. They were so articulate, knew exactly what was going on. They all shared their opinions really well, but really respectfully. I was just really impressed by the level of maturity and the knowledge that they brought to that conversation.
Last but certainly not least, we'll turn it over to Ms. McCullough for our 8th grade seniors, as they call themselves, highlights.
Thank you, Ms. Strong. Thank you for saving the best grade for last. You can deliver that message to Ms. Colbert, please. I really appreciate that, since she can't be here, but I will make sure the message gets to her. Our 8th graders, I have a week and a half left with them, and I'm trying to keep all my emotions together and not bawl and cry as I would if we were at graduation and prom and all those things that, I've been with these girls for 4 years, and, they just continuously just surprise me day after day with their questions, their conversations, their ability to push through difficult situations and just be the scholars that I know once they leave here that I can talk about for years to come. Just like Ms. Walker said, we mentioned this morning, these are a few scholars we wanted to shout out that have been pushing through this, unfortunate moment. Since March, we've been talking about a pandemic, but now we unfortunately have to talk about the things that are also going on in the world, and still talk about academics, and still talk and ask the girls if they're okay, and then also check in with ourselves. So the girls have been really good, and, actually reaching out to teachers and saying are you okay? How are you doing? I heard this happened. I know you live in this area. So I'm really grateful for these students. It shows for the types of households they're brought up in. Parents have been absolutely amazing over this time with their communication. This will be our second to last chat and chew with my 8th graders, and I just really want to say thank you to everyone, the parents and everything that played a big role in who these girls are, and I'm gonna miss them absolutely so much. Thanks.
Thanks, Ms. McCullough. Ms. Lopez, will you hit the next one for us, next slide for us? Ms. McCullough or Ms. Lopez, I don't know who wants to.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great.
I'm struggling with the multiple tech thing. So I'm on my phone. So I have a skating appointment in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So reality of children, y'all. Not my children, but you got to be there for the kids. Prom party, June 12th at 6 p.m. I know I let you know that when we would confirm the date. We are confirming the date. We will be having a raffle. the student who wins that will earn a 1-year subscription to I won't tell you what. But it's exciting and I wish I got it. And then we are working on getting a live DJ for that virtual party. It is the DJ we've been using for the last couple of years. Those of you that know Miss Monegro, her brother has DJ'd our last 4 proms or 3 proms and has then extended to like some students' 316, some people's weddings. Like we just keep it in the family, y'all. So we're working on that. The ceremony we announced last week is on June 25th at 10 a.m. We will start together for those of you that don't know, we have a joint graduation with our Girls Prep Middle School, Bronx Middle School. So we have a joint graduation and we have our own separate ceremony. We're still doing that. It will not be as long, so you won't be in Harlem for 3 hours and then in the Lower East Side for another 3 hours the next day or vice versa. But we are going to start together and then we will separate into our campuses. And then the last thing is today, Ms. George, Ms. McConnell, and myself spoke around yearbooks and t-shirt distribution. It is TBD only because we want to get clearing that the city is open, right? Open before we go out there, but we are full and ready and prepared to get out into the courtyard or into the front of the school building if we can't get in, to be a pickup point for those yearbooks and those t-shirts and do some like social distancing air hugs, or we're just making excuses to see your kids because we really want to see them, but don't tell them I said that because then they actually think like I like them. So that date will come once we hear from the city. We just want to make sure that we are not violating any issues or anything as far as like the yearbook and the t-shirt distribution, but they will have that.
Awesome. So we are not going to, we were initially going to give some time on the call for people to do this, but we're not going to just give in our timing right now. But there is a link. We will put the link in, it'll be in my summary email that I'm going to send families this week on Friday. This is, I know that we've surveyed you a lot and you've been amazing about giving us feedback every time we've asked. I know that the Google Forms, you're probably tired of seeing them because it's our only method of feedback right now. But we are sending out an end of year family feedback survey. We really need to get some important information. Just as we go into the summer, we want to make sure that we've got up-to-date contact information for people to make sure we can share updates about fall and planning. We also know that things may have shifted for some families in terms of COVID, and some people have had to leave the state or may have to leave the state. We want to make sure that we are able to provide supports. So there's also going to be a space to talk about like what supports and resources do you need. And just keep our community close. We want to make sure that we know if there are people that need things, if there are people that are leaving, if there are people that, if any contact information is shifted. So it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. The survey closes on Friday the 19th. I will build in time next week at the Chat and Chew, just for people to log in and do it for 5 minutes if they haven't been able to. But thank you in advance for doing that for us.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I apologize. I know I missed a few chat and chews and some meetings, but is June 12th the official last day of remote learning, or are they going to the end of the month? Like after June 12th, they no longer have to log in, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, I was actually going to say, Ms. Lopez, there's a couple of update slides that didn't come up in the slide deck. If you don't mind maybe unsharing your screen and seeing if you can find my update slides that have the important dates. I may have put them in the wrong, under wrong date. So yes, on that, I want to share, and hopefully I get the visual, the important dates coming up. So June 12th will be the last day of synchronous learning. So it'll be the last day of the like live classes. It's also going to be the final day for makeup work to be submitted. So we've been messaging that to students that if they are, behind on anything, if they have any makeup work they need to submit, we need to get it in by June 12th. And so after that, the only thing that will be taking place will be the end of year celebrations. So we will be having the 5th through 7th grade end of year celebration on June 24th. The timing and the information for that Zoom will be coming out, but after June 12th, students will not be required to submit their attendance anymore. They will not be required to submit work, and there won't be live classes offered. What will happen the week of June 15th are any students that receive related services. So if your scholar gets speech therapy, occupational therapy, or has counseling sessions with Ms. George, those will continue the week of the 15th so that our related service providers and Ms. George can wrap up the sessions for students that get those services. That's the only thing outside of end of year events that students will have after June 12th. And that's not everybody. That's only if your scholar has speech services, occupational therapy services, or counseling sessions with Ms. George. Other key dates just to put on your radar. So today, our girls are incredible, and amidst all that's happening in the world, they showed up to math class, quite a few of them, and did their very best on their end of year math assessment. Just a reminder, this is not impacting their pass-fail in any way. It is not going to in any way negatively impact their grade, but it is our way of trying to collect some end-of-year data that will help us support them in the fall. That's really what it's doing for us. If your scholar was not able to log in today to math class to take the assessment, it's only 10 questions, they will have an opportunity tomorrow. So please be on the lookout. Your math teacher, your scholar's math teacher, will be emailing you. And we'll include the link to the actual Google Meet or Zoom class in the email. Because we know today there was a little confusion for a couple people, and so we want to make sure that you don't have any problems with that tomorrow. Next week, Monday, Tuesday, we are going to administer similarly a brief end of year reading assessment, largely to help us see where did scholars end the year and how do we need to support them. For 8th grade scholars, this will still be important information we can share with families to say, this should be your summer work priorities. Here are the things that she can still practice as she's getting ready to transition into high school. June 8th, Monday, they will take the assessment live in ELA class from 10 to 11. As a reminder, and they did this in math today, we are trying to create as close to a real testing environment as we can, knowing that there's a lot of factors in remote learning we can't control. So we are asking that students log on to the live class to take the assessment and that they have their camera on, because the teacher is going to create the same kind of, everyone's going to clear their workspace area. It's going to help us set the tone, but also just help monitor students so we can get the most accurate data possible. If your child cannot turn their camera on, please to her teacher. We'll figure out a solution there if there's a tech problem or an issue. Our goal with it, again, is to create as much of a, mimic as much the environment we would at school. The makeups for that will be June 9th. And similarly to the way the math teachers are emailing today, your ELA teachers will email you on the 8th with the time for makeup assessments. We're trying to stagger it so that if kids aren't available in the morning, for makeups, there's an afternoon session based on parent feedback. So be on the lookout for the email from your teacher for makeups on June 9th. On June 10th, which is Wednesday of next week, we will have a chat and chew. We will also share optional summer homework via Google Classroom and email to families. So we are not giving required summer work, knowing that families are all in different places right now with what their capacity is, particularly with people going back to work as the city is starting to open. But we do want to provide resources and work that students can do over summer, if that is something that would be helpful for your family. So you will receive that via email, and teachers will be posting in Google Classroom on June 10th, next Wednesday. As we mentioned, June 12th, next Friday, is the last day of synchronous learning. And all makeup work is due on June 12th. And then June 24th, TBD on the time, but we will have our end of year celebration for students there. These were the key updates. So I figured having them all in one place would hopefully be helpful and as you're trying to keep things organized. That is all in terms of academic updates. I, again, am happy to hang back for a few more minutes for additional questions if they weren't answered, or if people want just an additional space to talk. Other staff members, I know that you may have to log off. Ms. Lopez, I think you have like a skating party with children or something happening. I don't even know who skates or where you're skating or how you're skating. Or maybe you're not skating and I'm making this up completely.
In the hallway, like a real building kid, where I have 4 days on the, can you see me skate? Can you please come watch me skate? And I keep saying later, and later is now.
All right. Well, you go enjoy it. Again, other staff, if you can hang, you're welcome to. We'll give it about 10 more minutes for questions and things. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a fantastic, as fantastic as you can have rest of this evening. I hope you get rest and are able to rejuvenate and recharge.
Ms. Strong, I was wondering about if the girls will have an opportunity to clean out their lockers, so to speak.
Yeah, I know when I imagine what may or may not have been left in a locker, what ham sandwich might be lurking somewhere on the 4th floor. I see Yolanda shaking her head. No. Yeah, so as soon as we, right now we don't have clearance to get students or families back in the building. We are starting phase 1 of like building reentry. So Ms. Lopez, Ms. Ruiz and I will be going in to do a building walkthrough next week to just see the state of things. The week of June 15th, we are allowed to start having staff by appointment, getting just not cleaning out. This is like you left something super critical in your room and you need to pick it up. I have to imagine that that means in the coming weeks, we will know more about when we can organize something similar for students. But I will know, hopefully by our chat and chew next week, I will have been on a building walkthrough and we'll be able to share just a little bit more in terms of facilities updates.
Is a reading list included with the summer homework?
Absolutely, a reading list will be coming for that.
Awesome. And I have one more question. Do you guys ever provide a forum for a space where there's like summer fun activities, or somebody's looking for another student to go have pizza with, or when we can go have pizza, or I don't know, over the summer?
That's an awesome idea. I'd like to talk with our community council members about thinking, how do we keep connections, right? And keep a space for students, particularly this summer when we're not sure what things are going to look like or how much they'll be able to get out. So I think that that's a great idea that I'm happy to talk to them about, and we can loop back to families with what we could possibly put together.
Yeah, I was thinking even like a social distant picnic, if we get there early enough and, everybody's in their social group. My sister surprised me with a Mother's Day picnic that was in the park, but we were able to be 6 feet, so we were in our social group, and then I got to see my son and stuff like that. And it turned out to be pretty fun, even with the distancing.
That's an awesome idea. We had a back to school barbecue in East River Park a few years ago when I was 8th grade GLT leader. I don't know if anybody on this call was there, but picnics are a lot of fun. I agree with that. So I am definitely game for having that conversation and seeing what we can do.
Awesome.
Ms. Jung, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Do you know about the competition against Girls Prep Bronx and Boys Prep on the 8th on Monday?
Oh my word. Thank you for reminding me because I didn't include that announcement. We are going to have a science competition, a virtual science competition, as I mentioned in the chat. We're not at all competitive. Our staff and students, we don't like to compete. Just kidding. We compete to win, duh, and we will. We are going to have a science competition on the 8th. More information will be coming, but it is the top performers, students who have done several things with different projects and have been identified to compete against students from the other campuses, and it will be by grade level. So it should be super fun. Again, we come to win, so we will. Don't worry. No pressure, Zadia, if you are the 5th grader, because you will do amazing. But I'll send information about that in my Friday email, because I just need to confirm the times with the teachers. Thank you for reminding me.
Also, what time is it?
Yep, that's what I need to confirm with the teachers.
Because they have a yearly
Assessment on the same day, so I don't know if we're supposed to do that in the morning or the afternoon.
That's a really great question, and you're demonstrating so much responsibility. I think that your planner is probably more organized for time management than mine is right now. We will make sure it doesn't conflict. Thank you for reminding me, and I will let you know by Friday. I'll confirm the times for you. And then you can spend the entire weekend ready to dominate.
Okay, thank you, because I want to win.
Of course. Yes, it is, Ms. Colgan. It's clear. Just check in the chat. Seems like most questions in there have been responded to, but if you put something in the chat that we didn't get to and you want to come off mute, feel free. Yes, Ms. Bembry, I see you with the hand. Are you there? Ms. Bembry, if you're still on, you are welcome to come off mute.
I'm fine. I didn't mean to hit that button. I'm sorry.
It is no problem. I went ahead and lowered it for you.
Thank you.
I hope Malia's doing well.
Oh yeah, she is. She is. Thank you. No, I didn't have any questions at the moment. I was just listening. You know, just taking in information.
Absolutely, and congrats to Nia.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so proud of her.
I
heard. Thanks to you ladies. Thank you so much.
So
I really appreciate all the work that you ladies have, done. I really appreciate everything.
So great. For those of you who may not know, Embry has an oldest, I'm not sure if it's your oldest daughter, but
yeah, it's my oldest.
Nia, that I taught when she was in 7th grade. Miss McCullough had her for college knowledge in 7th and 8th grade. And she is going to Spelman College in the fall and is now going to be a scholarship recipient. So good. And she's also just like the jewel of a human.
She's looking.
Even though she's always been taller than me, she's still my little baby. Since day one, she's been, but she's my little baby.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's actually looking for something to do this summer. I don't know what's going to go on with, with school or even, with girls prep, middle. She's around, she's available. She's not going to Atlanta just yet.
We will definitely keep that in mind because we love to have our alum come help us do all the things quickly in the summer.
Yeah, and I still haven't done my taxes. I have till July 15th. I got something for her.
She's available. She's available.
She could probably do them. That's the thing, too. She's a brilliant kid.
Thanks, lady.
Absolutely.
Hey, well, all right.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, we'll go ahead and log off for today. And we'll see you next week on Wednesday. Just a reminder, this Friday, I'm just going to send my summary email because students don't have school and staff will be in a professional development day. So the next time we're live together will be next Wednesday at the Chat and Chew. So we'll see you right here. Have a great evening, everyone. Stay safe and be well. Thank you for coming.
Okay, bye now.
I don't know why they're all the kids can go to school next month.